I remember the moment I cut the engine. The night went unnaturally quiet, only the wind whispering over the wings. Below me, German searchlights stabbed the darkness, hunting. I was 19, frozen in the cockpit, my breath held so tight it burned. One bomb run left. One chance. If they heard us, we would die. If they didn't, we would become ghosts. I am Nadezhda Popova, and that night, silence was our deadliest weapon. They called us foolish at first. Girls, students, seamstresses, as if the war cared what hands held the controls. I had barely learned how to kiss a boy when I learned how to land a plane with one wheel shot away. When the Germans crossed our borders, I volunteered without hesitation. Flying was the only thing that ever made sense to me. Up there, the fear stayed on the ground. We trained fast, too fast. There was no time for fear, no time for doubt. Under the command of Marina Raskova, we became the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. Later renamed, but the name that mattered was the one the enemy gave us. Nachthexen, Night Witches. Our planes were old even before the war began. The Polikarpov PO-2 was made of wood and canvas, slow and fragile, with no armor, no radio, no parachutes. If we were hit, we didn't fall. We burned. But the Po-2 could do something the German fighters could not. It could whisper. We flew so low I could smell the smoke from burning villages, hear dogs barking, sometimes even voices. At night, the cold crawled into your bones until your hands stopped feeling like your own. Frost formed on the goggles, and I learned to blink hard just to see. Every mission was the same, and never the same. Take off, climb, cut the engine, glide, release the bombs, pray. The Germans learned to fear that silence. They said they heard broomsticks in the sky. They said we were witches. Good. Let them believe in monsters. We flew up to 18 missions a night. Land, refuel, take off again. Over and over until exhaustion blurred into instinct. I stopped counting how many times I thought I wouldn't come back. One night, the sky over the front was alive with fire. Tracers stitched the darkness. Searchlights crossed like white fingers, grasping. I lined up the run, cut the engine, and felt the plane begin to glide. Too quiet, too exposed. My navigator squeezed my arm once. Our signal. Below us, the ground rushed closer, and then the searchlight snapped onto my wings. The light held me like a pinned insect. I pushed the stick forward, forcing the nose down, praying speed would save us. Tracers clawed past the wings, red, green, furious. I remember thinking how beautiful it was in a terrible way, like fireworks meant only for us. We dropped the bombs blind and pulled up hard. The searchlight slipped. We lived. That was how nights went. Terror, relief, back into the air. We flew until our bodies forgot what rest felt like. 18 missions in one night, that was my record. By the third takeoff, your hands shook. By the 10th, you felt nothing at all. We landed, engines coughing, jumped out, and ground crews, mostly girls like us, reloaded the bombs by hand. No one complained. Complaints wasted oxygen. Death became familiar. One night, my closest friend didn't return. Another night, a plane exploded so close I felt the heat on my face. We didn't cry until morning. Sometimes not even then. You learn to swallow grief quickly because dusk always came again. The Germans adapted. They waited. They set traps, turning on searchlights only when we cut our engines, sending fighters to circle low and slow, right where we flew. One pilot tried to ram me. I saw his face for a second. Eyes wide, just another boy following orders. He missed. Once my plane was hit. Shrapnel tore through the fuselage. The controls went heavy, unresponsive. I thought of my mother, of sunlight on summer grass, of how unfair it was to die at 19. Somehow the Po-2 kept flying. Somehow I brought her home. We were not fearless. Anyone who says that lies. Fear lived with us, slept beside us, climbed into the cockpit every night. But so did anger. They had burned our cities, killed our families. If fear was the price of answering that, we paid it gladly. The medals came later. Titles, speeches, photographs. They called me a hero of the Soviet Union. But in the dark, over enemy lines, none of that mattered. There was only the engine, the wind, and the moment you chose when to go silent. On one mission, the silence lasted too long. The engine refused to restart. The ground rushed up, black and endless, and I knew, this time, the night might finally take me. The engine caught at the last second. A violent cough, then a roar, and the Potu shuddered back to life as if she too refused to die that night. I climbed away shaking, laughing and crying at the same time. That was war. It took everything from you, then gave it back without warning, just to take it again later. By 1943, the front kept moving, and so did we. Kuban, Crimea, Poland. Each new airfield was mud, cold, and the smell of fuel soaked into the ground. We slept in tents, sometimes in barns, sometimes not at all. Our uniforms were too big, our boots stuffed with newspaper for warmth. Still, every night we flew. The Germans put a price on us. Iron crosses for any pilot who shot down a night witch. They hated us, not just because we bombed them, but because we humiliated them. Wooden planes, women pilots, no parachutes. And yet, we kept coming back. I lost count of how many times I was shot at. 32 bullet holes in one plane. Another time, flak tore through the wings so badly I could see the night sky through it. We patched the holes with fabric and flew again. There was no other option. Sometimes during the glide, I thought about the lives below. Soldiers sleeping, letters half written, dreams interrupted by the soft hiss of our wings and then the thunder of bombs. I never pretended it was easy. War doesn't care about your conscience. It only asks whether you will do what must be done. We became experts at surviving. We learned to fly by instinct, by sound, by feel. When engines failed, when compasses froze, when the darkness swallowed everything, you trusted your hands and the woman beside you. My navigator and I were one body, one breath. If she said now, I released the bombs without question. By the end, I had flown over 800 missions, 800 nights of darkness, fear, cold, and resolve. I was 23 years old, and I felt ancient. The war had carved itself into my bones. Then, one morning, the gun stopped. Silence. Real silence. Not the kind we used as a weapon. I stood on the airfield and waited for the order to fly. It never came. And for the first time since the war began, I didn't know who I was without the night. Peace did not arrive like a celebration. It arrived like confusion. One day, I was a weapon. The next, I was a young woman standing in a quiet field, unsure where to put her hands. The war had given me purpose, clarity, even certainty. Peace gave me questions. They told us to go home, to live, to forget. But how do you forget the nights when the sky tried to kill you? How do you forget the friends who never landed, whose names were spoken once, and then no more? We packed away our uniforms, our medals, our memories. Some people didn't want to hear them anyway. Heroes were useful during war. Afterward, they were inconvenient reminders. I married. I studied. I learned how to smile at ordinary things again. But every time I heard an engine at night, my body reacted before my mind did. I would listen for the moment when the sound cut out, waiting for silence, waiting to glide. Ooh, people ask me now if I was afraid. I tell them the truth. Yes. Every night. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to fly anyway. We were not witches. We were daughters, sisters, girls who learned how to carry death in their hands so others could live. The night witches did not win the war alone, but we changed it. We proved that the sky does not belong to one kind of person. That silence can be stronger than noise. That even the most fragile wings can carry history. When I look back, I don't see bombs falling. I see faces, laughing in the dark, sharing bread on frozen airfields, a squeeze on the arm before a bombing run. I see us, young, exhausted, unbreakable. And when night comes and the world grows quiet, I still remember how to become invisible.